Hello everyone, good evening, welcome to Talking Reds. Make sure you do smash that like, subscribe to the channel and share as much as you can to help us out on the YouTube, just the YouTube space. Lou is joining me tonight for tonight's news. Wirtz, Diaz, Alvarez, Rodrigo Price as well being talked about. Nunes as well, spoken about today as well in terms of all the reports of today. But yeah, Wirtz is the main one currently, isn't he, Lou? Welcome to Talking Reds, your debut. He said it's going to be a debut. So welcome.
Play some Begard Hegan.
Nice to see you
I'm coming
again.
on. It is a big one. I'm well excited. You know, we used to have a right laugh when we used to do the old stuff together. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it.
Welcome in everyone from the chat as well. Make sure you do, like I said, smash that like to help us out on YouTube as well. We'll start them with Wirtz. You could have probably guessed we'll start with Wirtz. If you know Florian Wirtz's chat, if you know Florian Wirtz's, let me know what you think of Naj. Naj is joining us as well. So you got the three of us tonight. Lucky you guys at home. So yeah, Florian Wirtz decides to join Liverpool, they are ready for negotiations with Leverkusen with an important contract, Lou. I saw the word important yesterday. The important word was thrown out by Romano yesterday about we're going to throw important money at it. Now we're going to throw an important contract at it. It seemed like now the way it's going about is Liverpool slightly favourites.
But are we?
Honestly, we're not. But you got all the Munich, and all the German outlets saying quite more our side. And you got Romano sort of saying a little bit more our side. Lewis Steele said he's quite confident in terms of what's happening in terms of Liverpool's side of things. How confident are you that this gets done?
You know what? I'm actually very confident. And like I was when you were saying then like we're favourites, the part of my brain that was wanting me to be very pessimistic, I was thinking, is that only because like I don't know about you, I don't follow many German outlets, I don't follow many Munich outlets. Are we thinking that we're more advanced because we're seeing a predominantly Liverpool-based side, or if you get what I mean, like are we thinking we're further ahead in these negotiations ahead of Bayern because we're seeing more of the Liverpool opinion pieces? And like the more this goes on and I'm seeing how quick we're getting Frimpong and Kerkez, fingers crossed, done for the prices of which we are, it is reinforcing this idea that we are looking to rebuild this summer. And the money is definitely there. Like that's a non-negotiable. Like we've definitely got the cash. We've saved up our pocket money from last summer. We were able to go out and we're able to buy plenty. I'm confident that we have the power to do it. Whether or not we actually do or not is a different story, because as much as we like to think that, well, we don't think we know, we are the biggest club in England without a shadow of a doubt now. Bayern do still have that pull. They are going to be competing for Europe. They have won their league as well, despite it winning a year 600 meter race at the age of 25. But they still have pull and power. They've still got the likes of Harry Kane there. You've still got Company who's an up-and-coming manager. So I think we can do it. I definitely think that we have the pull and power and the finances and the squad. But Bayern are a massive threat still, and that is something that I think we have to be a bit more wary about than perhaps we are at the minute.
Yeah, I don't know what to even make of it. Now, is that your audio playing back? Or is it just me? Are you in?
I don't know. Hang on, let me. Is that better now?
Possibly. Let me listen to it out. But yeah, I think you're right in terms of Bayern. We don't know how much of a pill they got. We still don't know what's going on with Real Madrid, because the reports that Real Madrid is still looking to sign a big superstar this summer. That's what the reports out the other day were saying. So if Real Madrid actually put the hat in, we don't know that's going to be the case or not. It's a different circumstance. It's a completely different circumstance. But yeah, David Ornstein said Bayern Munich are pretty much favourites. That's what he's getting from there. He replied to them. He does question and answers things now, doesn't he? David Ornstein.
And they're quite good, to be fair. I really like him.
Yeah. He basically said that Munich are pretty much favourites. They're seeing that over there. This indicates a lack of clarity at the present. It's because, let's have a look. Let's have a read of it. The reason why Liverpool are expecting him to stay at Munich at the moment, he could possibly stay at Leverkusen as well. I can't see that happening.
No, not with Alonso having left now. I think there's a bit of he was the one sort of solid inspirational thing, I think, that was keeping the players there. And now that he's left to Madrid, of all things, and like, you've got to think as well, they're losing Modric now. So there is a gap in midfield, and the idea to play with Alonso again might be a thing to entice him.
Dare I say another name?
Have you heard of? I know what you're
You
going to say.
know what I'm thinking of, don't you? Now?
Shut up.
Have you seen Leverkusen the link with for the manager?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Fabregas,
Ten Hag.
Fabregas.
Ten Hag.
Ten Hag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I thought they were getting Fabregas.
I mean,
Well, what about
He said no. Apparently,
Amorim might be available soon.
yeah.
I'd be surprised if Andrew's still in the job. I've got another one. Like, oh yeah, in fact, I wanted to open with that actually.
Ooh,
Congratulations, by the way. I said we were tuned on Tottenham last night, and yes, in the mud, Manchester United. Absolutely love it. Guy, Damon, Lou, Naj, and chat. How are y'all doing? Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Welcome, Fring Pong and Kerkez to Liverpool. Not quite Kerkez yet. Just don't get too ahead of yourself, Abdul. But yeah,
it's happened, Damon. Admit it. It's happening.
It is only a matter of time. Lad to Liverpool, here we go. Florian, yeah, absolutely. I did a breaking news earlier about Florian, not Florian, Fring Pong joining Liverpool earlier. So he's also saying Florian. I'm guessing that's.
I think he means Florian. Yeah.
Florian, welcome to Liverpool. The only Florian that's going to come to Liverpool in the next few days is Florian Plettenberg, because he's speaking about us quite a lot in recent games, in recent days. Sorry, Naj, Florian Wirtz. I know we're going to talk about Florian Wirtz pretty much every day now until we actually know what's going on. What do you think the German outlets and the Munich outlets? Do you think they're just putting it out there just to, I don't know, put off Liverpool slightly?
Do you know what? Like, I was what basically what Lou said. I was completely agree with that. Like, I know I'm very pessimistic myself about transfers. You know, like yourself, Damo, and stuff. We've been stung far too many times. With Caicedo, Bellingham, etc. You know, the list could go on as long as we are. But I think, to be honest, something feels different with this in a way. Just the noise around it is like, it's very interesting. I'm not jumping the gun on it or anything like that. Yeah, I think there's a lot to be done. I've seen obviously that reports have come out saying there's 10 days of decision with this contract or something Liverpool have offered. I mean, there's obviously that initial. We've seen the initial like contact with him, and obviously we're gonna be in for him. Like, he's a top player and he's a top talent. He's gonna be, you know, he is already world class. You're buying a world class player. I don't know. I feel like if he goes to Bayern, it's like it's the same old that happens in that league, doesn't it? And I'm not saying that the Bundesliga is bad, but you know, we've had that for 15 years now. Mario Götze, best player at Dortmund, went to Bayern Munich. Lewandowski, best player at Dortmund, went to Bayern Munich. You know, it's the same. I mean, I could go on with that as well. The list is long as we are with that. But you know, they all just go to Bayern Munich. Where I feel like if Florian Wirtz wants to sort of break the mold, he could come to Liverpool, and then that'd be something completely different. I almost think if he does that, he'd be viewed like Tony Kroos. He left Bayern, didn't he? Went to Real Madrid. Like, look at how much he's spoken about more than you hear about Schweinsteiger and stuff like that. I mean, I don't think there's much difference in how the quality between the players. I mean, Schweinsteiger was very good, but obviously I know Schweinsteiger went to United, but let's not count that. But what I'm trying to say is, like, they broke the mold and went to another big club in terms of at the peak of the powers, where Michael Ballack was one as well. You know, he didn't go. He went to Chelsea instead of going to Bayern. I sort of think that could play into it a little bit. You know, the Premier League at the minute is such an it's the appetizement for a player to come to the Premier League. I feel there's so much more than the Bundesliga. Like, that's why I'm referring to break the mold. Like, you go to Bayern Munich, you're guaranteed to win the league every season, pretty much. You know, the only team that's beat them in the last 10 years is the team you'd be leaving. So where's the other competition going to come in? Dortmund have been poor this season. You know, Stuttgart was good last season, but they sold Guirassy to Dortmund. It's like Russian dolls, isn't it? You either go to Dortmund, then you go from Dortmund to Bayern Munich. Like, so I feel like that could play into it. It's totally dependent. I think it's totally dependent on the player. I think, like, you know, Lou said, the funds are there, so we can use the funds. You know, we've not signed anyone in four seasons, I don't think, like, really. You know, 4
years was like the last. Yeah.
And like, why not? I think it's a statement signing. I think if we sign him, that puts us like, next season, I never say it's 100% to win the league or anything like that, but I'm going to use it as like a double, as the Premier League and the Champions League. The probably chance of Liverpool winning the Premier League and the Champions League without Wirtz next season will be about 30%. If you buy Florian Wirtz, obviously provide other signings, but just Florian Wirtz alone, I think that gets you an extra 20%, 30%. That's how good he is. Like, and I think that's how much of a good signing he'd be. He's almost like, when City got De Bruyne sort of levels, like that's, he come at that sort of age. He's that good already. De Bruyne was doing that at Wolfsburg. He was unbelievable, and then he come to the Premier League, unbelievable. I think he's that caliber, and I think, his age, 22, it's no brainer for me. No brainer.
Ridiculous talent for the age that he is. What he's already done at the age is just absolutely ridiculous. I think it's like a Van Dijk signing in terms of it. I think it just changed the whole attack up a little bit. The way Van Dijk changed the defense. I think it does sort of change the attack up because the less pressure on Salah to create anything. I mean, he instantly becomes our most creative player. And it also allows much more creativity to Salah to feed off and whoever will get up front. And someone's just asked about if we're going to get a striker or not. We're definitely going to get a striker. Nunez is gone. I think that's pretty much nailed on. So I think we will get a striker. Edwards met John Henry to get the dosh for Wirtz. I think he must have gone over there for a massage or something. He must have had to do something to get him to
massage. Yeah,
put his hand in his pockets because. Oh, he's either done that or he's just put an hole in his pants or something because it must have done something.
It's the old
fact that he's had to go over there. The fact that he's had to go over there and meet him face to face is done. He's had to sweeten him up basically. Are we going to get a striker? If yes, who do you think we'll go for? We're going to talk about who we're going to go for as well because Ekitike is rumoured being the main rumour in recent weeks. But Chelsea now after him to talk about that. But I want to talk about what Diaz Sport have actually come up with 3 mad sort of reports in the space of the same hour, I think it was. So Diaz Sport, not very, very reliable, but we are going to be talking about it anyway. So they were speaking about Wirtz saying Liverpool have presented an astronomical offer to Florian Wirtz. Astronomical, I do apologise. Offer to Wirtz. If he's certainly the highest offer of the player as on the table, everything pointed that he was going to Bayern Munich, but Liverpool have made him doubt. And they also went on to sign, if they sign him, they will sell both Darwin Núñez and Luis Diaz. Lou, again, is that sell to buy? This is what we have to do. If we have to sell to buy, we've got to sell these players to get this sort of player. Do you think Diaz is going to get replaced as well at the same time?
I think Diaz is going to be sold.
That's what they're saying there. They're saying basically Diaz and Núñez is sold to get Florian Wirtz in.
I don't think it's a case of we have to sell to buy this summer because, like I said, I think we did well in the sense of we've saved up from last year for the past 2 years essentially. I think there are a few players in this team that you can look at and think you are surplus to requirements. Harvey Elliott's one that's been coming out. Diaz today, of course, Barcelona, which I know we're going to touch on in a bit, but I just think that the desire now from managers seems to be they want a smaller squad. Obviously, Pep threw his toys out the pram about that. Slot said it a few weeks ago, like before it wasn't the Tottenham game. I think it was the Leicester match. It was after PSG. And he said, like, I want a smaller squad, essentially, because it's easier to work with, blah, blah, blah. And when you sort of do the math as who in this team is like indisposable, there is a good number of players who you could look at and think, if you left, I would have really be disappointed. And I think Luis Diaz does fall into that bracket. He is a good player. I think he is someone who would very much fit the mold of a team who want to put the ball in behind constantly. I don't think we've seen the best of him this season under Slot. He does prefer it, the sort of the way the Gakpo plays, where he picks up the ball. He likes to cut back inside, slow it down, whereas Diaz needs it to be quick, frenetic pace constantly. He likes to run into space. And out of Barcelona, I think he'd thrive. I think he'd absolutely smash it in La Liga. He just feels like a La Liga player the way he goes. If it is a case of we're going to sell him for about £70 million, that is a good chunk of change that can go towards it if it needs to. And with regards to us also losing Núñez, like you said, it's a no-brainer. In my mind, I've got so much flack for this over the past few days, and I'm willing to die on this hill. I think Florian Wirtz could be our false nine up front. I really, really think that he's got the potential in him and the ability to do it. He's actually, like, I compared his stats the other day on my channel, and he is matching, if not bettering, some of Roberto Firmino's passing and possession stats from 2019-20. Like, he's in that bracket, and he's so good at playing that position on the pitch that I think if you were to put him there, we'd get another level out of Salah, even despite what he's done this season. We'd get another level out of Gakpo, and I think he is someone who could unlock those players. If we have to sell to make that happen, fine. I don't think we're in a position where we absolutely need to, but I am expecting us to sell more players than I'm expecting us to sign this summer. There's at least 6-7 players you look at and think, you could go. You got Elliott, Nunez. I wouldn't be shocked if Gomez left. Kelleher's probably going to go. Chiesa's not a guarantee. Jota's not permanent. We're going to lose a lot more than we get. And if that's the case, as long as we're signing the right players, like a Florian Wirtz, as long as we're making it count and we're not making the squad weaker, I've got no issues with selling 1 or 2 players, maybe even 3, to invest in someone who's going to have a meaningful impact, as opposed to Chelsea, who are bringing in dozens of players, all of whom, or 9 out of 10 of them, can't even get in the team and end up just getting flogged on for the same price the next summer. So I've got no issue with it if we are going to be losing a good number of them, if it allows us to bring someone in of this caliber, which, like Now said perfectly, it's a statement sign. And it's a sign that we're back on our perch and we're not getting knocked down and we're only going to get better. And it's a statement to all the teams in Europe, like your Bayern Munich, like your Real Madrid, like your Barcelona, that we are going nowhere and we are serious about committing to this title challenge again and for Europe next season. So I've got no problem with it.
And this is the issue we had before, though, didn't we? Because we chose quantity over quality before, and when people, remember when our midfield was crumbling, I said before the season's going to crumble. We need a new midfield.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, we've got the numbers. Look at the numbers we got. I said, no, but we
numbers
haven't.
mean nothing.
Numbers mean nothing. Look at the quality of them. No. Half of them are not fit half the time.
We sold. Not good enough. Sorry, when we sold Suarez, we brought in Ricky Lambert, Balotelli, Markovic, Chan, Lallana, and Lovren with that money. And of those players, 2 of them went on to do well. Like, it doesn't mean a thing.
It needs to be absolute quality, especially in depth as well. We're seeing the importance of Frimpong coming in is beautiful depth, because what you got there now with Frimpong and Bradley is 2 different kind of players, 2 different ways of playing. Potentially in games where you need a more defender, Bradley comes in a game that we're going to be controlling the game and more attacking most of the time, it's a Frimpong. And again, get Salah involved inside as well. So Abdul, I see what is going on with. There's a lot of names there, Abdul. It's like an essay. Kelleher, Jaros, Davis, Gomez, Konate, Tsimikas. I can pretty much say most of them. You said Calvin Ramsey and his brother Calvin Ramsey, and Gordon Ramsay's in there as well. I think somewhere. Dirk Bacecic. I think. How about this? Everyone's going by Bacecic, Jones. And
maybe
Konate is a funny one, because Konate, it all depends on this contract.
Yeah.
Because
I think Yaros will just go out on loan. I don't think he'll go. I think he'll just go out on loan.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll go.
I'd agree with that.
I think Quansah probably goes out on loan, to be honest. I'm unsure. It depends if we sign potentially another centre back who wants to trust in Joe Gomez's fitness. I don't think Gomez will go just yet, to be honest. I mean, it makes sense for him to go for himself because he's not played and he's always injured. But he's quality cover, isn't he?
Covers 4 different positions, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's quality cover. And like, we know that Joe Gomez is a good player as well because he's been good for us in the past. And he's not old, is he? You know what I mean? The example is that I was going to use for that with Joe Gomez. I was thinking about it in my head then. You know, like, when we've got Endo in, like, he was 30. You know, like 30 years old, and he's 31, 32 now, whatever he is. But like, he's sound for cover, but that cost 18 mil. You know, if you get rid of Joe Gomez, what we're going to get for him? Max 10, 15. You know, we're going to spend loads of money on getting the cover. I think keeping hold of Joe Gomez would be probably a smart move at now for this transfer window. Maybe next season, move him on when we've got we've won more trophies and stuff like that. You know, but I mean. I'd be happy to keep most of the defenders. Probably would sell Tsimikas though. I don't think he's good enough. I think
I agree with that.
He's got
his chances, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's got to be cashed in on. I know this recently. He said like I'd rather take Tsimikas over. I'm not calling him out here, by the way. I'm just saying he'd rather take a fit Tsimikas over over any current Andy Robertson. I obviously I disagree with that. I think Dave did as well. Like I think what you get from Andy Robertson is like he's still good enough. Do you know what I mean? He's still good enough to be in that squad. And Kerkez coming in, the rotation's great. And I'd rather rotate with Andy Robertson and Kerkez rather than Kerkez and Tsimikas, because I just think that is a recipe for disaster. That
100%.
For Robertson might also help him in long term anyway, in terms of keeping him ready for every game that is playing. So he's not going to play every single game. It's going to be Kerkez is going to be number one. Let's be honest here. He's going to be straight into number one. I think that's the only one of the only main chances of this season that's going to go straight into the side for me. Striker as well, and then Frimpong, you don't know with Frimpong. That's up in the air, that one. LFC offered Wirtz 400k. I don't know where you got that from, Polo, but I can't imagine us offering. I know it says astronomical. Got it right, spot on, first time there. But
it's in bat.
400k, I can't see that being offered for him. Especially after how we basically had to get John Henry in a headlock for Salah and Van Dijk wages. There's not a chance that they offer a new player 400k for me. Let's be honest. Nunes, Robert, Salah, Nunes, Tsimikas, Quansah, and Robert are finished.
No, I don't agree with Quansah.
No, I'm thinking Quansah, right? It looks nothing like the Quansah we saw coming in. I'm going to give Quansah one more season.
His head's gone a bit off that United team.
I think Quansah is like, what people seem to forget is when you're in the youth system, like a few below, you learn the same style of football as the senior team, so that when you can step up, you're ready to jump in. So for the past however many years he's been at the club, he's learned this one same style from essentially the one same manager. This is his first season where it's a different manager and he's having to learn a different style of how to play. And he hasn't looked the same, undeniably so, but I think there's more expected of him on the ball. And when he has sort of been thrown in, he looks a little bit like, I've got to prove myself, I've got to do something big here. And he's
overthinking things then.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what he's doing. Like, that's his big problem this season. He lacks the sort of composure that, like, I mean, it's an unfair comparison, but like a Van Dijk or a Konate have. He just looks so erratic. Like, he just feels like he has to do something big. And to be fair, there has been games where he's done well. I understand that he gave away the penalty in the own goal against Chelsea, but I thought he looked quite good in that game, apart from those two obviously big moments. But he has had matches where he's looked good, but when he's bad, he's really bad at the minute. Yeah. And I completely agree with you, Damon. I think he just needs the one more season to sort of embed into the system. Because if you sell him, you like you said, it's another position you're just going to have to spend more money filling. And I'd rather keep Quansah than go out and try and sign someone new just because he's had one bad season. Like, everyone can have an off season.
He has shown the potential. It's not like he hasn't shown it.
I mean, you are right. Like, I think people forget, like, Konate had a real poor season. He was poor. Yeah. And who kept him out of the team? Quansah. So, it's literally, he's got the talent. I like him. He's a good lad. Like, you can tell he wants to do well. But I think ever since that United game the year in the FA Cup, I think his head's just gone. Yeah. He looked so confident and so like commanding, and everyone's like, he looks like Van Dijk, like times two. And then like he had that game and his head fell off, and then that was it. But I mean, like Lou said, he was good against Chelsea. He was good in the first half. I thought he was okay against Brighton for a bit of it. He looked good, bringing it out well. He was getting into, putting us on the front foot. But yeah, I'd definitely keep him, and I think trusting him. I think if you slot trusting him in the cup games next year and cover and stuff like that, because inevitably Konate will get injured at some point. I think we'll see the best of Quansah again. I'm not too worried about that. That's the least worries. But like you say, Tsimikas, if Kerkez got injured, do we want to play with Tsimikas all season? Absolutely friggin' not, because he is not.
No.
He stood in left centre mid the other day. I was like watching him. What are you doing, lad?
Abdul, what if I were to say yes to that question? I would definitely going to get versus 20. I wish I knew, Abdul. If I knew, I wouldn't be here. I'd be somewhere else. Remember Keita? Oh my god, half. I don't know why there's a Keita.
Why are we bringing up him? You don't need to relive the memories.
Keita, without injuries, is one of our best midfielders in the last 10 years. He was that good of a player. He's that good of a player. And let's not forget how good Keita was for that. You know, when we did the top 4 run. And when we were the injury hit season with the centre backs, Keita for that last period of that season was sensational. By the way, do you remember it, Lou? You're looking confused.
All I remember from Keita was like he'd miss 6 games, he'd come back, he'd get like a wonder goal, and then he'd be injured again.
But yeah, I'm sure he had a few games, and I'm sure he played that last.
He did have a couple. He definitely did have a few good games, but I always liken it to Thiago. It's like if I buy a Lamborghini and I pay the road tax and the insurance and put new shiny wheels on and a new engine, but then I don't pay for the petrol, so I can't drive the car. It's just, what's the point? Like, I'm spending money on someone's wages who's just injured 3/4 of the season. Like, it's just he did my head in personally, Keita. Like, God love him, but.
Paolo says here, we didn't have enough players to compete in all competitions last season, so a small squad sounds odd. I think it was more who was in the squad at the time. Slot only clearly trusts the 11, maybe 12, 13 tops.
I get it, though.
Behind that, he doesn't trust the players behind that. So if it doesn't matter about the small squad, as long as he's got better players behind, I think he'll use it a lot more. And we won't see Gravenberch run into the ground. We won't see McAllister run into. Now McAllister's literally out for the last 2 games because he's been ran into the ground.
I get it, though. Do you get it? I get it. Do you get it? Like, do you guys get it? I get that.
I do, yeah.
Because it's just why. I know it sounds wild saying this, and we could have done better in other competitions, but like, could we? Because we've just seen what these players have just been like when they've got a chance, and they've been. I mean, you can't even complain like, oh, we're out of fitness. They've been fit all season, and he's not played them. If you played them in them PSG games,
there's a reason. There's a reason no one's won the quad. Like, it's just that season we almost did it. It was a freak anomaly.
Yeah, it was.
And
we were out on his feet. That season.
Yeah, we were out on our feet, and it's all well and good people saying we need like a big squad and we can rotate. Chelsea, like, it doesn't guarantee that as soon as you bring someone in, just because they're fit, that they're going to be able to have the same impact. Like, if you took Van Dijk out this team now, we see the dip in quality. Who are you going to get to rotate around him? Same with Mo Salah, same with, I say Alisson, we got Kelleher, but like, do you see what I mean? Like, it's all well and good saying we've got these players to come in, but no one is going to match their levels. There's a reason no team's ever done it.
Yeah, the drop-off is too massive. It's too massive. And
yeah,
this is why we need to stop overrating certain players. When it comes to it, we're fine with that. Look, they've done good jobs at times. Jones has been brilliant at times. His consistency is absolutely shocking, by the way.
Yeah.
We've always been, every time Jones has played the sensational, right, we're like, come on, this is your chance now. Fucking keep doing this. You actually got a good player in you. And then it doesn't keep it up. And that's the issue. We can't have that. And when we're relying on the same 11 every single week, and you're looking at Jones on the bench and thinking, do I really trust? Does Slot really trust him? He clearly doesn't. Otherwise, he wouldn't have run McAllister to the ground where he has.
He's actually class. He's actually a class player, but he just
on his day, yeah. And it's just 1 out of 10 games.
It's ridiculous. Like, you come on the other day and he was awful. But then Chelsea game at the start of the season, he was unreal. He was like popping passes off, going for everyone, driving.
West Ham as well. Playing the League Cup. He was,
It's just like, I don't know. It's just
frustrating. Yeah, it's just frustrating.
Yeah.
Leroy there with an absolute assist going on to Diaz, and that's what we're going to move on to right now. Luis Diaz. Prime Ozil there, Leroy. Prime Ozil. So Barcelona director Deco, obviously former player Deco, is talking about Luis Diaz. I saw your tweet on this earlier, actually, Luis, as well. We like Luis Diaz, we like Rashford, and we like other wingers too. That's one part of the sentence. Then his next sentence was, we can't talk about players under contract with other clubs. So, what do you think of the contradiction there, Luke?
Well, I mean, fair. You know what? Is it weird that I kind of like the balls on it to just come out and go, yeah, we like that player.
Yeah, I like honesty.
I like it.
Honesty, and I can't hate honesty.
No, I can't. And you know what? Credit to them, because I think the more they sort of sit there and go, can't talk about it, the media is just going to ramp it up and say, well, you do. He's just come out and said, yeah, I do. Okay, great. And what it's like when people are giving you shit for something. Sorry, I don't know about the swearing thing, but I suppose we're down the rabbit hole now. It's like when people giving you grief for something, and then you go, as soon as you go, yeah, okay, they stop. And Diaz is, like I said, he's someone who'd thrive at Barcelona. I don't know where they're getting the financial power to suddenly sign Flick, Rafinha on new contracts, and then all of a sudden they're signing Diaz. Not a clue. But he feels like someone.
More grass.
More,
More grass. But it's not from the pitch all this time. It's not from the pitch. It's not from the pitch. I don't know why it's from this grass, but
no, it's not from the pitch. It's from like a garden in the back or something. But I don't. I just
special lights.
Like I said before, I think Diaz is someone who, if he was to leave, I would be somewhat. I'd be like, okay, thank you for everything you've done, but I wouldn't miss him too much. He's never come back from that first initial injury that he had in his second season, I think it was, towards the end of the first. And like I said, he's a very talented player. He's very good at what he does. He can be a nightmare for fullbacks. He loves running into space. He's a Jurgen Klopp style winger. He's not an Arne Slot style winger. And there's a few players in this team who suffer from that same thing. And Diaz going to La Liga, I think he will rip it apart. He's so quick. He is good on the ball. He just often runs into danger at points, and he can finish. And I think in that Barcelona team, the way they play, the quick transitions from back to front, spacing behind, he's going to thrive. Like we've seen with Rafinha, like we've seen with Yamal, he will fit into that system beautifully. And if Barcelona want to come for him for, it's like room like 65, 70, 75 million, that's a good chunk of money for someone who's late 20s, doesn't fit our system, hasn't had the best season ever. Like, I can't see too many negatives with it, to be completely honest. And it might sound pessimistic, and I do like him as a player. He just doesn't fit. He doesn't fit what our plan is going forward. And I would rather sell him now while we still have the option, rather than wait till his contract starts to run down.
And you've got to remember, he's not going to get any better, really, at the age that he is. I know Salah did, but it's very rare to do that. Salah's just a freak.
Yeah.
And Salah was actually doing numbers ridiculous before anyway. Apparently, some Barcelona fans are not happy with Barcelona going for Luis Diaz. They don't rate him. I think, but they're not used to getting cast-offs from teams. If they go to Liverpool, Barcelona go to Liverpool, they get their star, Suarez, Coutinho, at the time.
Yeah.
Luis Diaz would be a cast-off of that. At this point right now, it'd be a cast-off. Is not the star. Our stars right now going into the future, Gravenberch, McAllister, these sort of players that are there for the future. Diaz would be a cast-off. So I'd sort of get it from Barcelona's fans' point of view, but like Lewis just said, La Liga is completely different. He could easily rip that up. The space that he gets over there. Like I said, doesn't suit really slot. He gets quite predictable in the Premier League. I think defenders have worked him out. And that can be very, very dangerous. And this is why Gakpo has always been the best left winger I've got, because it's just not predictable. He does different things. Diaz not leaving LFC, says Chris. Paulo says if we sell Diaz, who replaces him? And Paulo says Diaz, no end product. Admit it. Hi, Damon Lou. And we've got an FSG out there. Look, I could talk about FSG quite often, but one thing I will do is praise them if they do well this season. From what this is, if we continue doing this, Frimpong in, Kerkez in, if it addresses the situation, someone like a Wirtz as well, I'll absolutely praise them. I've never had an agenda against FSG. They're there for the praise, but I will criticise them if they need criticising. I'll always be like that. Just won the league, Polo. Hey, let him be. Let Polo be. I like how blunt Polo is. He's always blunt. But yeah, Luis Diaz, according to Sport again, the Arrow Sport came out and said that Liverpool and Diaz have stalled talks between them. Naj, do you think this Barcelona has some legs in it this summer? I think it could be another one later down the line.
Yeah, I probably agree with you on that. I mean, I quite like Luis Diaz. I mean, I've said this. He's got quite good numbers this season. I think if you look past his dry spell, his purple patches are really, really good. It's just obviously there's nothing in between, which is the issue with Diaz, unfortunately. I think obviously we try and look at it with the Mane sort of thing, and Mane, Salah are freaks, like you say. You're not going to get a pair like that, ever. But yeah, Gakpo. Yeah, I mean, I've always been a big fan of Gakpo. I think he's brilliant, and but yeah, I think that is one position I've said probably all season. I'm completely happy with that. I think you've got two players there that can do different things, and if it does mean selling Diaz down the line, probably say next season or something. Yeah, another thing is FSG hat on here. He's on 60k a week, so we're gonna have to go and spend a lot more money to go and get someone in the sort of the quality. But I'm happy with Diaz. I mean, I've already said who I want to leave. I mean, I was really reluctant to say I want Jota to leave, but his stocks are still probably quite high at the minute. He signed a new contract season and a half ago, something like that, just 4 o'clock left. Nunes obviously is going. I mean, the focal point for me would be keeping Diaz for the pure reason is if we've got 2 strikers going out the door, he can cover. And then if Wirtz comes in, obviously, as well, he can obviously play that false 9. But that's what I'd sort of be looking at. Thins the squad down in terms of Jota and Nunes going. And then you've still got 2 quality left wingers for different games. I do notice something with Gakpo. He gets very tired over a couple, if he plays continuous games. I don't know whether that's to do with, I don't know, because he's all action-y sort of thing, really.
Explosive. He's quite explosive, isn't he, as a player?
Yeah.
Yeah,
because he does tire a lot more than Diaz, but I think Diaz just really...
injuries as well.
Yeah,
he does seem to be getting those knocks a lot more often than he used to, and I agree with you. I don't think Diaz is a bad player. I think from Gakpo, you've got a bit more versatility. I think he's a bit better in the air. I'd say he's a better finisher than Diaz. If I said to you, which one would you rather lose of Diaz and Jota? I mean, did you say you'd rather lose Jota of the 2?
Yeah, I mean, if it's going to lose, I mean, I'm reluctant to say it, but because Jota's injuries is just caught up with him, hasn't he? And I love Jota, and he's been unbelievable for us. But years ago, I mean, you can see it. You can see it. You've seen it all season. His legs are going, and he's only 28, whatever, 29, but you can just see them injuries have just gone like that now and caught up with him. I just reluctant to say it, but he does need to sort of probably move on somewhere. And like I say, stocks are high. Him and Nunes go out the door. I'd rather lose them 2 than lose Diaz. And just Diaz and Nunes, I'd rather lose Jota and Nunes and then get a quality striker and Wirtz. I mean, I'm talking this is going to happen, but it might happen. We don't know, but I'd rather do that from that standpoint.
Paul, I said it last night. If you do that, please send us a picture to our email, and I will get it up on stream if you get that done. I'll be joining you. Paul, it's not in their hands, mate. It depends on Wirtz. I get that, Tado, but in the end, it is always on FSG. They're the ones that sanction the money. If they're on the sanction money, they don't have to. It's up to them. Gakpo might need B12. Is that vitamins you're talking about there? Yeah. Okay. Maybe it might be just a European thing. We're just soft over here. South Americans, they've got to go through grit to get where they get to. So it's just
hard. I'm drinking light beer.
Yeah,
because I'm a real man.
It's just so one player that we could potentially look at. Arsenal looking at him too is Rodrigo. Real Madrid will demand £67 million for Rodrigo, which for me is not actually that dear for the player that you're getting there. And also Chelsea want. Is it Chelsea want Rodrigo? I can't think. One second, I got it up now. So
Arsenal will link from this morning.
Arsenal very, very much linked with him. It's Chelsea Ekitike, I think it is. If Liverpool don't manage to sign Florian Wirtz, they will shift their attentions to another top forward of very high level, and Real Madrid's Rodrigo could be in that orbit, Lou. That's one thing I'm going to be very, very worried about right now. Is if we don't get Wirtz, these are the early signs of we're not getting Wirtz. When these sort of other alternatives come out, the word alternative comes out. Got to be very careful when they start coming out. That's when I'm sort of thinking, maybe Wirtz is not on.
But we've always been a club who have alternatives, and I think that's just because we're very data driven. It would be naive of us, I think, as a fan base to just assume that it's one and done. There's definitely other players that are always linked with us, but I don't agree with that with the narrative that they're spinning there of if we don't get Florian Wirtz, we're going to go for another forward. When, I said before, Diaz and Gakpo, that is a strong position to have on the pitch. The issue is clearly striker. The solution to fixing that problem is not to sign another left winger. It's like if we needed the right back and we decided to sign a centre back. That's why I didn't want Hato as our left back, and I was all in Kerkez, because I don't want someone makeshift. I want someone who's fit to that position. So not losing Nunez and Jota, or Nunez or Jota, or however it is, buying another left winger who may come as a number 9 isn't the solution. And it's cheap. It is definitely cheap for Rodrigo, but I don't think it's someone we're going to be necessarily trying to fight Arsenal or Chelsea over. The only reason it's so cheap is because he wants to leave Madrid and they just want shot of him. He's a good player. He's class. Like, don't get me wrong, but there's clearly personality issues there. There's clearly someone who, when he's not the big dog, so to speak, of the team, he wants to go. He's going to be competing with Salah. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's other people in this team that are going to be taking the headlines over him. He's class, but he's not a position on the pitch I think we need to strengthen in, and he's not someone I'd be looking at and thinking, yeah, you're the solution. I want someone through the middle, and I don't want to see any more Diaz number 9. I don't want to see Gakpo makeshift centre forward. Either get someone who can fit the role, or keep what we've got if you're not willing to admit that we are going to, if we're not going to sign someone for that spot, because it's just pointless. You're making a hill to die on if that's your solution.
Yeah, we need signing first half players, but I'm tired of the makeshift roles that Lewis just said there. And this is why I still think we still need another DM for Gravenberch, maybe even to give him rotation
100% agree.
forward, because he's still a makeshift DM. He's not a DM. He's even said in the interview he's an 8. He's even said that himself. Do you think Gyökeres is amazing or another Nunez? I think Gyökeres is incredible. If you actually watch Gyökeres properly, like the way he composed the ball, I don't know if you saw his goal last week. The absolute composure of that. It's just incredible. Obviously, he's been to England before. Didn't work out with Coventry really much, but Salah went to England before. Went off, did his own thing, came back, best player in the Premier League now. That sometimes it doesn't work out for players at certain clubs and certain managers at certain time periods of their careers. Gyökeres for me would be an unbelievable signing for anyone, and if someone like an Arsenal to get him, that's a game changer for them for me. If they get an actual striker that can actually finish their chances, certainly. Milos Kerkez, though, the other day it was advancing. David Ornstein's had a word about Milos Kerkez, saying it's not done. Liverpool are his priority and his top target, but they will have other options too. The likes of Real Madrid and Man City also have him on the radars, but it's not a top option. It's not advanced club to club yet, but clearly that can change at any point. So it was advancing the other day contra Romano. David Ornstein says it's not advanced. So a nice little boxing match between them two. The elite of the elite. Who needs Wakey Wines against Modine when you get David Ornstein against Fabrizio Romano in the ring? But yeah, so it's not advanced with that. I would be very careful there, Naj, on the Milos Kerkez thing, because if he has got other options.
Do you know what? I'm pretty sure I've seen him on Swift Down Road before. I'm joking. He may as well just say he's coming to Liverpool, because it's just there, isn't it? Like it's literally done. I think it's done behind the scenes, and sort of like, I think he's obviously been speaking to Szoboszlai. I think that's something that's happened probably for a while. You know, very cryptic things you've seen on his social media sort of points towards a move. I think it's done. I think it's probably it's not going to be as quick as Frimpong. I don't think it will be. I think it'd be a bit more of a negotiation sort of thing with Bournemouth, because he hasn't got a buyout clause, has he? I don't think Kerkez.
No.
Don't think so.
Frimpong obviously did, so we just, as you know.
Easier, yeah.
But I think it'll be sort of. I think we'll get him. I don't think there's any question about that. The only other team I could probably see him coming in for him is probably United. That is not going to happen, is it? But I mean, I don't think Arsenal defense sound sorted. Chelsea, he ain't going to go there. He's got Cucurella. They're fine.
Well, it's Man City Madrid now, but Madrid actually got their left back the other day, didn't they?
Yeah, they've got it.
Option.
Yeah. So yeah, City. I don't know whether I think a lot of players at the minute. I seen something on Twitter. I don't know what article it was. Don't quote me on who it was, but a lot of players are sort of looking at the bigger picture of City, like what's going to happen to them. So I think that's sort of something that players are looking at in terms of going to them. I mean, obviously they signed Marmoush and Nico Gonzalez and Reece and Krishanov, but I mean, apart from Marmoush, none of them are real catch your eye, caught your eye really. But
yeah,
I think with Kerkez, I think it's pretty much done. The links are there already, aren't they? He was out at AZ Alkmaar as well. in Holland. You know, the links are there. Soboslai. I think it'll be done, but like I said, I don't think it'll be done like Frimpong. I think it'll be probably June. We'll probably see that happens, like the start of June. You'll see him in a Liverpool shirt anyway, 100%.
Lou, do you think it has to be a massive fumble to lose Kerkez at this point?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it'd be huge. Like this feels like a signing that we've had not done, but it's for months. It's been like Kerkez and Liverpool, Kerkez and Liverpool. Like Pepper said, you go through the league there. There's no teams in our division certainly that are in desperate need or have the pull and power to sign them. And the thing about City as well is, why we're more of an attractive prospect. Obviously, we just won the league, of course, but City, you have to imagine, are coming to the end of Pep's tenure. Like, he's already coming out in news conferences and being like, I'll quit if the team's too big. Like, I think he is coming to the end of his time there. We're at the beginning of a new cycle. Like, it's exciting. And it's not like we're saying to Kerkez, come to us and you'll be a rotation option, like you would at Arsenal behind Miles Lewis Skelly, or going City where you get rotated every game for the sake of it. He could be a start. Like, literally next season, he will be a starter. 100%. Potentially this season, like you said before. To not get this one done when we've got the finance, the pulling power, the squad, after winning league title number 20, asserting ourselves as the most dominant team in English football history, it would be a massive fumble. And the only way I can see it happening is if we don't make a decent offer to Bournemouth. The only reason I can see this falling through is if we half-arse the negotiations. And to be honest, I don't see us doing that. Like, the speed we've got Frimpong done, the fact that we're getting really serious about Florian Wirtz, the names we're being linked with, I can't see us doing that. And Bournemouth now, because they can't get Champions League football, and I don't think they can get Europa League. I'm not exactly sure now. They can't get anything. So, you know, they've lost their only arrow in their quiver there, because they could have turned around next season and said, they could have turned around to us and said, well, we've got European football, you're going to have to up the price. They don't even have that now. So I see no reason why we can't get this one done and give everyone what they want, to be completely honest.
Essex Red says here, sorry, Wirtz really wants to transfer to Liverpool. How comes we haven't seen him in Liverpool jersey yet? Sorry for 10 days to make his mind up. Don't want players to the club deciding to join Liverpool. It's not a big rush, though, Essex Red. It's not a big rush. At the end of the day, we've still got the season to finish, number one. Number two, Bundesliga has done just finished. You've got to get things over the line. If he wants to take time to decide, and he does decide Liverpool, then fair enough. But at the end of the day, it's a life-changing... You've got to remember the human beings. It's a life-changing decision to make. When he's been in Germany over his life, his family's over there. Does he stay in Germany and stay with Munich? Or does he up and move his whole life to a different country?
I think it's a humongous positive that we're in for him already. Like, we would usually not be, that's what I mean. That's why I think we're all very happy, like, how proactive we've been so quickly. With Kerkez, we've already talked on, they're going there. Frimpong's done. That's right back sorted before even the window started. Obviously 1st of June it starts, I believe. It's only open for like 6 days or something, isn't it? Closes again or something like that.
I wonder why it's open so early.
Yeah. And then, I think it's the fact that we're already linked. We're not even linked. It's not even a link, is it? There's something very much going on there. And I think that 10 days takes you into June. Like, that just into June. Like, that's not... takes you up to where the transfer window closes, and that's just into June. Was it 2 days ago we put that thing up? Was it a day ago, 2 days ago? It was 8 days.
Yeah, about 2 days, yeah.
It's the end of the month, isn't it? Essentially, it is the 1st of June. If you really put it down, 1st, 2nd of June, that's when his decision's going to be made. That's fine. That's fine with me. Like, and I think if he comes out with a decision and says, look, I want to go to Bayern Munich, move on. That's it. Bang, move on. That's good, because then we've got the whole of summer to go and find someone that we want then, rather than sort of messing about, trying to transfer saga. We don't need it. And I think that's a very, very big positive that we've done that.
We've just had... Sorry, David, go on.
I said, I hope it isn't this. I said this the other night. Look, if we are serious about Wirtz, go and do everything you can to go get him. I don't want none of this, wait, let a bit Munich get in, we'll pull out, and really go all out for this. If you really want this player, go for it. So I'm sick of this, going for a player and then all of a sudden we don't want the player, and then the money disappears, like Caicedo. I don't want to come to the end of the season and say, "Where's the Wirtz money?" I don't want that to happen again. Go on, Lou, what are you saying?
No, literally that was my point. Is like Caicedo last time we went in for him like the last minute. I remember I was away and I saw the news article just as I was going to sleep, and I woke up and suddenly we were bidding on him, and I was like, that just feels so sporadic even. And this shows just how much work has gone behind the scenes, bringing Michael Edwards back in, bringing Julian Ward, Richard Hughes. Whereas last summer and the summer before, it just felt so scattergun and so like we didn't have a plan. And credit to them, I think, like we obviously want them to spend money. We want to go out and we want to actually use our finance to benefit the club. But I do think now, with the benefit of hindsight, obviously winning the league helps it, but taking that year to see what areas of the pitch definitely need improvement, taking that time to be able to identify, look, we 100% need a striker. Left back clearly needs improvements. And like you said perfectly, we're in for Wirtz this early. Frimpong's done. Kerkez is in negotiation. You can tell that work's been getting done consistently behind the scenes. And it shows to just how well ran things have been behind the scenes in this season with Michael Edwards and Hughes and Ward. And like, it's worked out really well. And I don't want like another York Schmadtke transfer window where we end up getting Darwin Núñez, Carvalho, and Calvin Ramsey. I don't want that. I'm happy we've took this calculated approach. I'm happy we've took our time and we've been able to see the areas where we have to improve. Because if we'd have gone out last summer and spent X amount of money on this player and this player and this player, you know, we don't know what ramifications it could have had. Would we have won the league? Would we be able to tell what areas of the pitch need improving? So I'm very happy with the way things are at the minute. Just get it done. That's just the only thing. I just want to see the money be used and actually bring someone in now.
And with the Wirtz thing, if it is Wirtz, then that's a statement sign. I've not seen a statement sign that for a long, long time. Not like that. Not when we compete with the big boys in a transfer for like that.
Alisson's the last one.
Yeah, potentially, yeah.
Yeah, that window.
And Van Dijk and Alisson was a statement signs, but as in like we weren't even competing with anyone together, really. No one else really went for Van Dijk and Alisson. No. This is Bayern Munich 100. Man City have been in for him as well. This is like as big as statements you get.
We tapped up Van Dijk, didn't we?
I don't think not to my recollection anything. We got Suarez when you coming up really. Suarez was like a potential to be that, but he didn't have the reputation that Wirtz has right now. Suarez didn't.
No, I mean,
I know it's going back, but when we signed Djibril Cissé, he was a big prospect coming from France. A lot of teams did want him.
Yeah, I mean, Darwin Núñez, you can say like he was not. I never see, and when we signed Núñez, I never thought he was a statement signing. He was one that you paid premium for because he could be good. He could be this player. You know, he hasn't, and that's it. That's all it is. That's the bottom line. But probably the last player I think was probably Alisson. Obviously, come after Van Dijk. You know, this is like the caliber of Wirtz signing. Like when we went to that Champions League final and Karius was in goal and stuff like that. Like I mean, Karius, he was okay for a bit of the season and then just capitulated. But when we brought Alisson in, that, like I say, that 10-30%, that made us like 10-30% better. Like, I made us win. That made us win the Champions League. Alisson made us win the Champions League. Made us win the league. And, you know, without Alisson, we would never have won all this stuff. I mean, as good as Salah and Van Dijk are, and Mane and Firmino and all the other players have been over the seasons. Essentially, without Alisson, you know, he was probably the last marquee big signing we brought in. Like, we wouldn't have won what we've won because he's that good. I think Wirtz is that good. Like, and I think that's what, you know, like Lou said, like you've been saying, it is a statement signing. I've seen someone just put a comment then, you know, other players will follow. That's how big he is. Like that. If you sign him, you will get who you want then, because they'll be like, oh my God, Florian Wirtz has gone there. I'm going there, lad, because he's class. You know, Salah's already there, Van Dijk. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it shows that we actually are going in the right direction. We actually are serious, because this is why I had the gripe against FSG, because when we were top last time, we stood still. We literally stood still. We're happy to everyone else to take back over us. Now we're seen to like, this is what I want. This is what I want to feel. This is what I question for years. Like, please just really be serious when it comes to it. and now we are starting to look serious. I'm not gonna fully say that we're serious yet. Frimpong's good start. Get him over the line. Replaces Trent. It's a bit of a downgrade slightly in terms of talent, but it's a good start. It's one of the best right backs out there right now. Kerkez would be another brilliant addition, but something like a Wirtz and then a striker and a DM as well. Then that's I said the other night. Look, if we get Wirtz, a striker, a DM, a left back, right back, I will applaud FSG. I will stand up and clap them on here. But until do I have faith in doing that? No, because I'm just basing it on that experience before. So, but yeah, a Wirtz is certainly. Come on, this is the kind of sign that really puts. Lou said it earlier. A statement in Europe. When we're here, we're not playing around. We're champions already, and we're going to go again next season.
100%.
That's what I want to see. Shirky and Alvarez have been linked with Liverpool in recent weeks as well. So Shirky, according to L'Equipe, Leon are forced to sell Shirky 40 million euros. Very cheap for someone that's pretty much very, very creative. But however, Lou, Florian Wirtz is in the situation. Is Shirky one of the things that you go get if Florian Wirtz doesn't work out?
Oh, yeah. He's for that price as well. Like, he has proven to be one of the most talented players in Europe this season, and he's a different profile to Florian Wirtz. The only problem you've got is because he is so cheap, there's a large number of different teams that are in for Cherky at the minute. I know, obviously, United are in the mud. Great. But, like, they could still go in for him. I know Tottenham were being linked with him, Arsenal, Madrid. Like, there's a lot of teams in for him. Whereas with Florian Wirtz, there's only one or two teams at the minute, i.e. us and Bayern, who have not the pulling power, but the finances to actually do it. So, as much as I'd be happy with Cherky as a backup, I think he's someone who will probably be sold to a club by the time the Florian Wirtz deal's been agreed, because it doesn't help as well that he's turned around to Leon and said, like, I want to go. So someone somewhere will probably get him before the Wirtz deal is finished. And at that point, yeah, it's Wirtz or bust. So yeah, I like him as a player, but he isn't the one I'd be going out to make my number one choice. Florian Wirtz is just... I have said that name more in the past week than I have my own girlfriend's. That's really, really sad. It's just, he's everywhere, honestly. But yeah, Wirtz or bust.
So I've just accidentally put a comment up on there. I don't know what it meant, but it said something about if any Muslims in the chat, something like that. But I don't know what it said. It said something. I put it up there, but accidentally I tried blocking the thing, but it came up on here. So obviously, if you press
it's still on my screen.
Yeah, so yeah. I've blocked it for the stream chat, hopefully, I think. But yeah, if anyone is out there, if he has said anything offensive, I don't know if he has said anything offensive, I don't know. So I don't know what it means. But if
it does say fake account behind it, so I think it has been.
So if it is offensive to anyone out there, please, I do apologise for putting that up onto the screen. I didn't mean to put it on the screen. I tried getting it out. So yeah, but he is blocked now. I don't know what it means. But anyway, so yeah, Alvarez and Shirky. Definitely two players that Liverpool are looking at. Alvarez, Liverpool and Arsenal have reportedly scheduled talks over the next week for signing Julian Alvarez. But there was a report yesterday, Nige, that Atletico Madrid obviously want Núñez, but they want him to play alongside Alvarez, not to replace.
No can do. Núñez goes, you send Alvarez over to us. I don't know, like... It makes sense for Núñez to go to Atletico. He is the most Diego Simeone player I've ever seen in my entire life. His first game for Liverpool, he got sent off red butting someone. Like, if that's not Simeone, I don't know what is. But he literally, like, I mean, we've spoken about Alvarez a lot over the last couple of weeks, and he would be, if you was going to put a perfect window down on a piece of paper and write it down, it would be Florian Wirtz, Kerkez, Alvarez, and that'd be the three. Obviously, Frimpong's already here, so I'm not going to count him in it. But that'd be I think everyone's shopping list, as in like terms of players. But I think, can you get Wirtz and Alvarez in the same window? Might be a bit too much. It does depend on them player sales with Liverpool as well. I mean, I keep saying, like, sell to buy, we are pretty much a sell to buy club. But, what I would sort of go on the lines of, we've just won a load of money for getting in the going so far in the Champions League and winning the Premier League. You know, the global viewership of Liverpool, and that money we were getting, it's like, I think it's 300 million or something like that, isn't it? Something mad like that altogether.
It's huge.
Spend that dough on Wirtz and then player sales, go and buy the rest for that. That's what I'd say to probably go with that. You know, 40 million for Nunes. Get a couple, I'd say get 20, 25 for Jota. I mean, people want Jota. He's good. You know, he is good. You know, Elliot. I think Elliot's got quite a high stock. I think you could probably easily get 30 million for Harvey Elliott just because of his age. Because, you know, I think he shoots a lot of teams around Europe, Dortmund, potentially something like that. You know, you get 30 million for him. You know, that's sort of your Alvarez transfer there. I mean, you're losing 3 players, but you're bringing one. You know, you're bringing a starter in, essentially. Like, none of them players have really started much this season, have they? Like, in terms of they've not had a nailed-on starting position. I mean, we've had to play Nunes. We would love to have played Jota this season and to be brilliant as he usually is, but he just hasn't been that, you know. And, you know, I think Alvarez coming in would be just great. It's the whole Nunes thing. It's like, how are we gonna get the most amount of money for Nunes? I think that determines on the striker position. I think that's sort of, you know, because we are data based and stuff like that. How much are we gonna get for potentially 2 players to bring in a premium player, to bring in the ready-made thing? Like, you know, that's why I'm so against Kerkez and stuff like that. I don't want players like that. I want someone who's already a finished article. Alvarez comes in, he gets us 30 goals a season. You know, we scored 85 goals in the league this season. If he adds another 20 to that, it's 105 goals, you know, and like that wins you the league again and again and again and again. Like, if you go and have a look at how many goals teams have scored this season, I know Arsenal will be better next season. You know, they'll get a striker, but I just think, again, it's a statement signing. It's not as a statement signing as much as
Wirtz, but it is.
Wirtz, but it's up there. Like, you know, strikers in this current market, there's not many out there. You can turn around and go, yeah, you know, he's going to come in and bring me that. You know, Kerkez, Alvarez, Isak, they're probably the only ones. I mean, Haaland's not going to be from City, is he? I mean, but, you know, there's essentially 3 big ones, isn't there, at the minute? Like, I can't think of anyone outside of that. Sesko's too much for risk. Ekatiké's too much for risk. I don't think Ekatike will be good in the Prem, and I'm going to be totally honest with you. Osimhen's a good option, but his attitude stinks, so I don't know whether that'd be an option. I mean, he'd be cheaper.
Yeah.
But it's
same
like,
Kuna's a brilliant player, but again, attitude.
His attitude. Yeah. But yeah, it's you know, Delap. Do you go and get Delap? I mean, no, you don't need a player who's going to be good. I just keep saying, we're on the perch now. Lou said it before. We're on the perch. We need to get. Yeah. We need to get another perch. We need to get a higher perch. That's what we want. We don't want another.
I think there's another level for us to go to.
Yeah, I don't think we got that third gear.
We've been quite poor in many games this season. I
don't think we got that third gear. Really, I don't think we did at all. Maybe the Spurs game, it was electric in that game, but yeah, there's 100% another 2 gears to Liverpool. And I'm
thinking of these pundits, you know, saying, "Oh, we're throwing in towel now because we won the league." Oh, we've done this. I've seen rival fans crying about it. We've been shit for 2 months now.
Who cares? Well, who cares though?
We've been shit for 2 months anyway. This has been our natural form for 2 months. The only good game we played in the last 2 months was Tottenham. Before that, we lost to Fulham the game before. They outplayed us. So this hasn't just been happening after Tottenham. This has been happening before. But yeah, just before we do go, just a little bit on. We have signed another player, Spanish centre back Wirtz Luque on a new 4-year deal. A highly rated centre back, young lad. So that's a very good established centre back there. Possibly coming in, get him out on loan, see what he does in the future. So we are sort of future proofing in a way, and also about Virgil van Dijk being presented on Sunday with the Premier League trophy by Alan Hansen. How amazing is that, Lou? How fitting is that, by the way? The last one to lift the title in front of the Liverpool fans, to give it Virgil van Dijk to do the same thing.
I mean, this is like the bit in The Godfather where he's like, he goes to Michael and tells him, you know, this is all going to be your, like, it just feels like a passing of the torch. And we've waited our whole lives for this, and we've spent our entire lives not being, well, I have anyway. We've won the league and we got to celebrate it in our houses in lockdown, and those players on the pitch never got to feel the atmosphere. They never got to feel the the response from the legends of this club that have built it. Alan Hansen going to Van Dijk and handing him that title is it's like being touched by God, essentially. Like it's such a huge thing, and it's a massive sort of credit to Van Dijk to have the man who I think was our greatest ever centre back potentially up until this point handing him it. And it's great that those players, the ones who forged the way for us and won our last league title, in 1990, the players like your Ian Rush and your Kenny Dalglish and your John Barnes, your Alan Hansons, Steve Nichols, all these great players are going to get to bask in that on the day. And having someone like Alan Hansen, who was a figurehead of this club at the time of which he played, passing it off to the man who's the figurehead of the modern day Liverpool team is incredible. And Van Dijk is our Alan Hansen. He's our player that when we're older and we're going back and we're telling our kids, like, this is what I saw, this is the players I saw, this is the team that I got to witness. He is the moment where this Liverpool team pivoted from top 4 contenders to league title winners. And Alan Hansen had the exact same impact on this Liverpool team. I think it's a massive honour for Van Dijk to be able to get it from him, and for the fans in that stadium to essentially, it feels like closure.
The other fans
It
being
feels like that team of old. Yeah, it's that team of old passing it along to the team of the modern day and saying, this is your time. And I'm so excited to be able to see that. And I'm so excited to be a part. I'm over the moon, and there will be tears. And Monday is going to be it's going to be chaos. So I'm so happy and so excited with it. And yeah, I went on a big tangent then, but yeah, it's great to see. I'm really happy.
It's almost Shakespearean how it all fits out.
It is.
And it's sort of. I'm going to ask you quick. I'm going to say something now, Naj. See what you respond to it. It could have been Gerrard. Could have been Gerrard past it, but it makes more sense for that. No offense to Gerrard, it makes more Shakespearean sense that our last centre back, the Virgil van Dijk before Virgil van Dijk, is giving it Virgil van Dijk. But if it was Gerrard winning the Premier League title, it would have been Gerrard passing it over. But Shakespeare wouldn't have been happy with that one.
No. Do you know what? I was trying to think then what number Alan Hansen was. He was number 6, I think he was, wasn't he? Or 5. I don't think he was number 4. But it'd have been good if he was number 4, passing it over to number 4. That'd have been good. But yeah, a shout out to Alan Hansen though as well. You know, he's had some real difficult times recently as well. It's great to see him back to full health and then, you know, remaining in part of this beautiful club's history. Like, you know, it is a Shakespearean moment. Like, you are right. Like, you know, do you know what? Like, when you say a picture paints 1,000 words, right? You know, the mural's just got put up of Van Dijk, and he's just like basking and everything, and he's just like looking like that picture epitomizes what it means. Like on when we won the league the other week. I mean, obviously, I obviously locked down with sound. I mean, I went for my COVID walk to past Anfield. Yeah, but like, you know, it was different. Like it was mad that we won it then, but like now, like it almost felt like, you know, we can celebrate it properly. And I think that passing over, it's almost like passing over the garden. Like that's what it is. You know,
it's the Olympic torch, like Lou said. It is like the Olympic torch. Yeah.
Yeah, and it is.
One country to the other country.
It's great, and like I always think this, and I know it sounds biased. It's my own club and stuff like that, but like we just are like poetry, aren't we? Like the things we do, everything happens like, you know, we've not won this season, but we'll win it there, and it'll be like have some tie to something, and it'll be great. You know what I mean? And I don't know, can't beat Liverpool Football Club, can you?
No, it
was number 4 as well. By the way, he had it for 2 seasons. He was number 4.
Oh, was he? What was he after that?
They retired number 4 though.
So he started off as like number 16, and over the years he dipped, and he wore the number 4 twice. He wore it in the 1977-78 season, and then he wore it in the 1983-84 season. And after that, he was number 6.
Pretty random. Do you know what? Players' numbers back then, like it was just like, isn't it? It was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like, it wasn't. That's
when I do managing. I play a manager on Saturday, don't I? So when I put the kits out, I always make sure the numbers are right with the right positions. I'm always. I don't know. Players might have different ones, like 66, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and things like that. Some people have certain numbers for something to do with them, but I'm always going to see it as 1, keeper, 2 right back, 3 left back, 4 or 5 defenders, CDM 6, 7 winger, 8 midfielder, 9 striker, 10 attacking mid, and 11 the other winger.
Yeah.
Literally. Kids are like,
11,
come on,
11
we just
is
want to go
actually
out and play.
11's the funny number, isn't it? 11 is such a funny number. You know which position you're in for every other number. 11's like 7's like you're the best winger. 11's like you're the second best winger.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm revealing my secrets there to my team. By the way, it's what it is. It's what it is. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you everyone for coming into the chat. Make sure you do smash that like on that video. Would help us out massively. Thank you everyone for subscribing. By the way, because last night I had some incredible views, and again tonight some incredible views again. And those subs are going up like crazy. Thank you everyone that has joined. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel and get your notification bells on as well. We'll be live tomorrow night again for Red Zone. And we'll be here all weekend. Trust me. Enjoy the weekend, guys. Enjoy the parade on Monday. We are Premier League champions. So hopefully every Liverpool fan